Welcome back to another edition of Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Corey King, and I'm here with RSU softball head coach, Andrea Vaughan. Andrea, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, can't complain. Just super excited to get a chance to sit down and chat with you about RSU softball. And well, let's go ahead and start off with a bang. This past year, we accomplished history, being able to secure not only the MIAA tournament regular championship, but also the regular season championship. Talk about what that means to you and in your program.
It means a lot. It's one of those boxes that I've wanted to check for a long time. And I've told the team, I told this year's team, I told last year's team, it's probably a bigger accomplishment than the actual tournament. The tournament means more, but as far as how far you're going to go in playoffs, but for your team to win outright the regular season conference, to show up weekend after weekend in a tough conference, that is really, really hard to do. So I was immensely proud of our group. That's just a huge accomplishment, but I'm glad to check that off the list.
And we are super glad to watch you check that off the list. It's a super thrilling to watch your team compete week in and week out and play at the highest of levels. But when we got into the postseason, when we're talking about defining success, obviously our ultimate goal is to win the national championship, and something that you've done 2 years ago. But making it to the super regionals against Augustana and just following up short, how does that fluctuate your definition of success, or does that mean still as much as to you as winning a national championship?
I think we've kind of defined success as any sort of championship. And before we went into last year, I mean, when you win a national championship and you've got that target on your back, it's very hard to repeat. There aren't very many programs that have repeated in history of Division II softball. So that in itself is a huge task. But to continue to be a forerunner in our conference, to me, that is success. I told the team last year that they were a championship team, whatever that looks like, and they proved that. So Augustana was a very tough opponent. They won the national championship in 2019, and I know they felt like that was their shot. They get there, and it's just hard. It's very hard to put all the pieces together and to come away with the ultimate title. But I think this year's team is a championship team. So whatever that looks like, that's what we're going after. So just either conference championship, super regional, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a national championship, but try to take it piece by piece and keep climbing the ladder.
And you guys climbed it, it's spectacular to see how, with these big, large expectations, you guys take it one game at a time, one pitch at a time, and just try to be locked into that moment. It's just really speaks loudly to you and your program and how you coach. But we couldn't move forward into the 24-25 season without talking about another All-American, another pitcher of the year for you. Talk about what does it mean, for you and as a former pitcher to have such a tradition of having such high-level pitchers in your program.
It means a lot to the program. Andrea Morales paved the way. Sarah Yamas-Howe comes in and does it again. And I look for someone on this staff to follow in those footsteps. I'm very excited about this pitching staff. But it's kind of we're kind of known for, okay, who is Roger State going to have in the circle this year? And I enjoy that. Our staff knows that. We've had pitchers commit to us because they know our tradition of success in the circle and they want to continue that legacy. So I'm excited about what this new staff is going to do.
Speaking of this new staff, obviously such a big piece, your ace, leaving the program due to graduation. It's such a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing so well. Can you stay for a little bit? You got another year of eligibility somewhere, but who are you looking forward to taking that big step and replacing and being your true ace for this year?
Well, it's tough. I've got 5 this year. Last year we had 3 main arms. So it's going to be a little different this year. Obviously, Jade Sanders got a ton of innings for us. She's had an outstanding career thus far. Harley Cooley, very outstanding career, stepped up big time for us last year. And at one point, she was third in the nation in ERA with a lot less innings. She has continued to hone in on her craft, and we've developed a few more pitches that we're going to throw in her arsenal. I'm really excited about what she's going to bring to the table, and she just continues to get better. Same with Jade, developed another pitch. And that's always kind of my goal. How are we going to be different from last year? What's our element of surprise this year to make you different? And both of them have really succeeded in doing that. And then we've got 3 more stepping in that are all different. Jensen Elder is a spinner. She has an incredible changeup. She's just very different from the others. Tori moves the ball very, very well. And has had a lot of success with her junior college. She's bringing that. And then we've got Raylyn, our freshman, who spins it very well. She's held her own this fall, and she can swing it a little bit too. So they just all complement each other so well. I'm excited about that. I haven't had that in maybe if ever. So they're all very, very good.
And we look forward to it. We always know what RSU means in the circle, what that means to our program. So being able to see, 5 faces instead of 3 faces is just another opportunity to see your coaching style and how you impact, their game. Obviously, we mentioned some new players and we mentioned some returners as well. This year's balance. You have 10 returners and 10 new players. Talk about blending those. Some people who haven't been here before and coming from new homes, and people who've been here before and know this home, and actually having still a player from their national championship team on the roster. Talk about how do you blend those all together to come and make a culture here at RSU?
Every year has its own challenges. This year is a little unique in that we are even, but I will say the newcomers that have joined us, they're here because they know what our culture is, they know what we're about, and they want to win championships. So they have meshed really, really well. They've just jumped in, and they understand what we're about. It's been easy, but trying to get everyone, I told them from the start, that's our number one goal. Yes, we can be skilled, we can do all the right things mechanically and practice, but if they're not, a sisterhood and together, then they're not going to get to where they want to be. You have to do it together. And sometimes that's hard with women, but we're getting there. And we've grown a lot this fall as a team, but this has probably been my most challenging year because we've had so many newcomers, but they've been a great addition, and I'm excited to see the blend as we go into season.
When you're talking about, getting them to blend and getting them to see eye to eye and see the game in a similar type of way, what kind of activities of chemistry do you do to build that? That's a skill. That's something that you have to work on. So what things do you do to help expedite that transition?
Well, getting them to mesh on the field is the most important thing. Outside, yes, that's important. We have spent countless hours just on situations, getting to know. We've got a lot of new outfielders, a lot of returners on the infield, but there's got to be chemistry with your middles. We'll have new middles this year as far as our second baseman, but there's got to be chemistry on the field. So we've probably done less team activities and focused more on just practice and our chemistry on the field. But we've done a few things. We had a Halloween game, and they got to dress up, and they had a really good time. We just finished our Thanksgiving dinner a couple nights ago. But I would say where we've really focused is just in practice and developing that chemistry and getting to know each other.
And that's what's important, being able nothing like when the bullets are flying when you're in game, but being able to put those in those situations, and so you get a feel of how the other player wants to play that moment is important, and repping it as much as possible. But with these new players coming in, who are some new Hellcats that the Hellcat Nation should be looking out for coming this spring?
Hallie Hance is one that comes to mind. She had a really, really great fall. She comes from Fort Scott, great outfielder, can swing it from the left side, do a lot of different things on the left side. We've got 2 freshmen that'll be out in the field some, Carly Smith and Shelby Rushi. Great players. I look for them to come in and get some time. And then I've already mentioned Ray Lynn, freshman. She's a freshman pitcher, can swing it a little bit. I'm excited about her. And then Sailor Brown is from Haskell as well, and great catcher. So she'll be behind the plate quite a bit, rotating her and Abby and Callie. You're going to see some returners in different roles too, which I'm excited about. Brooke Nauman, who got some playing time last year, I look for her to step into a bigger role this year. Mariah Belzer, who we had been grooming to take over second base. I'm excited about what she's going to do. She's looked great this fall. Had to get her feet wet last year as a freshman. Callie, you're going to see her some in the outfield, which I've been grooming her for that for the last 3 years, knowing that eventually with Sailor coming in, that could be a possibility. So, you know, I'm excited to see some of our returners in new roles as well.
And that's what's important, is being able to challenge your student athletes and not let them become comfortable in the same roles over and over again, but to be able to expand them and challenge them even throughout their career, even throughout having immense success on the field and off the field. But as we keep moving, your facilities has changed. It now is the RCB Bank Sports Complex, and of nice, fully turfed field now, a little bit less stress off your plate. Talk about what that means to your program.
It has been such an incredible improvement. Just the time spent. We've had more time to plan practice. We've had more time to meet with players, to brainstorm, which is one of my favorite things to do, just to have space to be able to have vision over the program, and you're not bogged down with field work day in and day out. So it's been a huge stress off of our staff. I think you're going to see, as good as we have been defensively, I think you're going to see our defensive numbers improve, because to me, turf is a little bit more predictable. So I'm excited about that as well. But it's just an overall, the feel of the complex, it's just first class. When you walk in, you can't help but just be so proud. And I had a freshman, when she came in as a freshman, Abby Rogers, she said at one point this fall, she was looking back at old pictures, and she was like, I didn't realize just how much our field has changed. And she said, it doesn't even look like the same place. And so they have really enjoyed seeing these improvements.
And we do too, and we can't wait to share it with the Hillcat Nation, have them be out there supporting RSU softball. But for another edition of Coach's Corner, I'm your host, Corey King, and for RSU softball head coach, Andrea Vaughan, thank you for watching.